Hello everyone, this is Globe. Today I am headed to Bolivar, Tennessee. Bolivar is a short drive from Memphis and is a place I've wanted to explore for a while. When I first moved to the Memphis area, the only thing I knew about Bolivar was that it housed a state mental health facility. I learned years later that there's quite a bit of Civil War history here. Come along with me, Globe, as I explore some sites in Bolivar, Tennessee. We finally made it to the downtown area of Bolivar. Our first stop will be the Hardeman County Courthouse. I'm in front of the courthouse, and the first thing I see is a statue of Simon Bolivar, or is it Simone Bolivar, who was a South American liberator. And this statue was given from the government and the people of the Republic of Venezuela. Interesting. And the partners of the Americas, from Venezuela to Tennessee, to the city of Bolivar, on the celebration of the bicentennial of birth of the liberator, 1789 to 1983. This statue is dedicated to the honor and glory of those of Hardeman County who served their country in the Spanish-American War, World Wars I and II, the Korean conflict, and the Vietnam War. This is a beautiful structure, and the sign says that it is under reconstruction. We were able to tour the first floor, but there were very few historical artifacts there. Some of the items that they did have, that they did try to preserve, somehow got damaged, which is a shame. But there is another courthouse called the Little Courthouse, which has a lot of historical value. Unfortunately, it was closed today, but I definitely plan to make a return trip to that courthouse. We were also able to tour the second floor of this courthouse as court was not in session today. We are back outside of the courthouse, and this sign talks about Bolivar's strategic position. Located midway between Memphis and Corinth, Mississippi, Bolivar's position in the Hatchie River, a navigable route to the Mississippi River and its junction of north to south railroads, made it a strategic location for both armies. By the fall of 1862, when Union forces had occupied West Tennessee, where they remained until the war's end, several Union generals quartered in nearby dwellings. General Lew Wallace stayed at Levi Joy House, while Generals William T. Sherman, James B. McPherson, and Ulysses S. Grant each used Austin Miller's house, Magnolia House, as headquarters. Early in 1864, Confederate General Nathan Bedford Forrest's cavalry re-entered West Tennessee to raid and disrupt Union supplies lines. When Union General Samuel D. Sturgis learned that Forrest was in Bolivar. He marched here from Memphis on May 2nd. After a brief fight, Forrest withdrew to the south. To punish Bolivar for supporting Forrest, Sturgis ordered the courthouse and town square burned to the ground. The Methodist and Baptist churches and most of the business district also destroyed. Fortunately, the courthouse records were saved. According to local tradition, a Union officer and freeman contacted fellow Masonic brother Austin Miller and gave Miller 2 hours advanced warning. Miller moved the records to his house. The current courthouse was erected in 1868 to replace the one that burned. Bolivar's Confederate monument here on the courthouse square is one of the oldest in the state. Local residents began raising funds for the obelisk to commemorate fallen soldiers in 1868, the year that the new courthouse was completed and erected in 1873. Our next stop was the Louvre Theater, and it's such an interesting story behind this theater. It moved to this site in 1936 and is an example of the Art Deco style. But there was a lady who ran this theater back in the day named Miss Louise, and she only allowed patrons one trip to the bathroom or to get water. Couples could not hold hands, and there was no talking, and she walked the aisles with a flashlight to make sure her rules stayed in force.
To the left. Over there.
You should go.
Do you want to? Hold on. Why were wind chimes made? Do you know why were wind chimes were made? It's your phone. Because our microphones are both on. I know. But if you want to.
Oh, that's cute.
Because you can hear our voice and our reactions. Better than my phone. Yeah, I think better than my phone. With this on.
I'll record the tune.
What's all on the left?
Historic church.
Yeah.
Look that up. On the corner of Lafayette and Washington Street.
So this is Bolivar? Alright.
You can run over there and get a picture of the sign.
I have my phone on me.
From the church. See a little black sign?
guard.
That's where they go to do that training.
You're trying to see it?
No,
Oh, water. Let's go right for a bit. Yeah.
It looks really pretty at night.
Hey, what's that flag? The black flag.
This says prisoners of war and MIA missing in action. You know what missing in action means?
They're missing.
Yeah, bodies were never found.
All right.
Now we're trying to locate some of the historic homes in Bolivar.
No, man, I can't see it.
Yeah.
What is this?
Magnolia Manor. So that's a private residence. Just take a video. Just stand right there and sit right there.
That's 418.
It's 418?
Yes, ma'am.
But the sign said Magnolia Manor.
Are we even near it?
Mm-hmm.
We're not even near it. Yeah, we passed it. Yeah. 300 feet. It was blue house.
There's another one right there. This is the Fentress Black Manor House. This is circa 1849. Man, it looks like back in the day, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not going to get too far from there because it's so much private residence.
Alright.
This looks like this is the historic trail. North Main Historic District.
That's it?
I'm gonna go back and get the one with this. This is the Mary.
It's the blue house.
What's that sign say? The Mallory something Mary. I have to look that up. I can't read the writing. Where's that piece of couch right here? Oh, that's one too. This is so that you can, I guess when you do the tours.
Let's keep going.
See right there on the side?
Yes, ma'am.
18 something.
That's it right there.
This is the Mathis house. Built around 1898.
That's it.
And this is the Freewood house built around 1898. Beautiful pink color. Okay, this sign says Old Hatchie Town. Here in early days was Fowler's Ferry at the head of steamboat navigation on the Hatchie River. A town named Hatchie was established in 1819. In 1824, because of repeated floods, the town was moved about 2 miles south and named Bolivar in honor of the South American Liberator. So they moved this whole town 2 miles south to Bolivar. Wow. Now we're headed to the site of the Western State Mental Health Institute, which was a psychiatric hospital that treated the extremely mentally challenged or mentally ill cases. And it served 24 counties in West Tennessee. Some people refer to it as the insane asylum as opposed to the mental health hospital. Now, according to Wikipedia, it opened on November 22nd, 1889. It stated that the patient population grew from a few hundred in the 1890s to over 2,000 in the 1960s as patients remained hospitalized there for years. At one time, there were 7 buildings on the property. It's also been said that the treatments there ranged from hydrotherapy and insulin shock therapy to lobotomies and electric shock therapies. And there appeared to be a lot of experimentation going on. It's also said that sometimes the patients were allowed to roam freely from the buildings, around the buildings, and from time to time, their patients would escape. But these buildings that we're approaching don't seem very welcoming. I don't know if back in the 1890s, this style building was a welcoming looking facility, but it looks kind of scary. It looks like something you might see in a horror story. But perhaps, like I said, in those days, it may have been viewed as a welcoming place. I decided to drive around to get another view of this huge facility. Well, it's time to head back to Memphis. I thoroughly enjoyed my time in Bolivar and will be back soon. I'm glad you chose to take this trip with me, and I hope to pick you up on the next drive.